Meanwhile, Sid, where next for Pochettino? Obviously, a lot of talk about Real Madrid, considering the previous offers he supposedly had. Bayern are favourites, Manchester United at 5-2, Real Madrid 6-1.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this from a Real Madrid point of view, of course, Pochettino was the man that Real Madrid wanted. They went and spoke to him, but when they discovered that he had an enormous buyout clause at Spurs, they decided not to follow this through. And they decided not to follow this through because they knew how difficult it would be to negotiate with Daniel Levy. And also, and this is a point which I think may be more significant than it first appears, they felt like Pochettino had been foolish tying himself to a big buyout clause. And they felt that in that sense that it was kind of his mistake. It was his mistake that he hadn't done enough to make himself available to Real Madrid. And there was a bit of a sense at that point where, well, you've blown it. This opportunity doesn't come round again. Now, of course, we know that even if you think that at one point, it doesn't mean it doesn't necessarily come back round again. It doesn't mean that they don't have that same sense that this is a really good manager. But, of course, he is a manager who hasn't won anything at Spurs. And from Real Madrid's point of view, that's significant. And a manager who's now had this difficult, 5-month period of this season. And actually, I suppose if you overlook the Champions League final, which, of course, is a big thing to overlook, they were actually pretty poor for the back end of last season as well. So I have absolutely no doubt that he is on Real Madrid's radar, that he's someone that Real Madrid are interested in. But as I say, there is a certain bit of hangover from the last approach, which means that they are more reluctant than they would otherwise be.
Why wouldn't Bayern Munich go out and get him?
I don't know. Hasn't won anything, no silverware. Can he handle a dressing room of those sort of characters?
Listen, they brought in Niko Kovac. You think Niko Kovac want a patch on Mauricio Pochettino? And I know he's not won anything, but Bayern, the Bayern Munich dressing room sit up and take notice of this guy. They know, they understand what he did at Tottenham, these players. They took him to the Champions League final. And also, to Sid's point, he's got to go somewhere where he's starting to put trophies on the board. Right? He can't keep having that mud thrown at him. And from their perspective, the options for them at the moment seem to be relatively limited.
Yeah.
Now, they can say, we're going to wait till the summer and we'll do this and that. But things have changed come then, as I don't understand. Apart from the fact that we want somebody that can speak German, all that nonsense, I've heard it before. You want somebody that's a good manager.
Yeah.
And he's clearly a good manager who is a bit jaded, and they're looking for a long-term manager. Why wouldn't he go there? If it was good enough for Guardiola to go there, it's good enough for him to go and try and rack up some trophies.
We'll say goodbye to you now then, Craig. A third of the show is done.
That's it. Here you go.
For an in-depth look as to what happened at Spurs this week, really good article over on the website. Be sure to go and check it out. Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPNFC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.